ESPN welcomes you to Las Vegas Motor Speedway as we're now getting set for happy hour for tomorrow's Las Vegas 400. And you can see that race live at 2:30 tomorrow Eastern Time. The Las Vegas 400 on ABC Sports. Here's Bill Weber.
Thanks, Bob. Happy hour is 60 minutes long, but I'll be curious to see how many of these Winston Cup teams opt to use all those 60 minutes. Happy hour falls late in the afternoon, but this race actually begins at 11:30 in the morning Las Vegas time. Track conditions will change a lot. This track can change a tremendous amount during a 400-mile race. A lot of guys also ran the Busch race here Saturday afternoon. They learned a lot in that race. May not need the time at happy hour. Then again, there are some other guys who didn't even know they were in this race till just a few hours ago after second round qualifying. 43 teams, several different agendas. We'll see what happens. Let's go upstairs.
Thank you very much, Bill. Well, not only are they learning about the different track conditions, but weather conditions, I think, is going to play a role, because about halfway through the Busch race, the wind really picked up, Benny, and it's supposed to be even greater tomorrow.
And that's exactly what these guys are going to have to try to figure out in this happy hour, is what the wind is doing to these cars, because this is something that we haven't seen before, an extreme wind. We've had a little breeze, but nothing like this. This is probably 30 miles per hour, and they're talking about maybe tomorrow being 40 miles per hour. Jeff Burton talked about in the NASCAR Busch Series race that coming off turn 4, it really upset his car. So that's the concern that these guys have right now, and that's what they need to figure out, what kind of line they need to take around these corners to diminish what the effect of wind will have on the cars.
And it's supposed to be cloudy and cooler also here tomorrow for the running of the Las Vegas 400. The happy hour is underway right now as a group of cars come off of quarter number 2 and come down the backstretch. There is Sterling Marlin running by the side of Jimmy Spencer as they head into turn number 3. Also, Ken Schrader and Jeff Gordon are right there. Gordon, of course, one of the 5 drivers who can walk away with $1 million bonus. The Las Vegas 400 is a no bull 5 race. And besides Jeff Gordon, we have Kenny Irwin, Mike Skinner, Michael Waltrip, and Dale Earnhardt eligible. That's where they start. Michael Waltrip will start from the outside of the front row tomorrow. Skinner has the 5th starting position. Kenny Irwin 10th, Gordon 11th. Dale Earnhardt will have to come from a long way back. He took a provisional to get into the field.
See Rusty Wallace and Mark Martin side by side. Jeff Gordon's been able to get by the Sterling Marlin car. Now Mark Martin's trying to do the same thing.
Mark Martin won the Busch race earlier this afternoon, and he won the Winston Cup race here last year. Besides these cars on the racetrack, there's also a long line of cars on pit road waiting to go out. At the front of that line is the 10 car of Ricky Rudd, Joe Nemechek, and also Brett Bodine, Michael Waltrip, and right on down the line.
So looking awfully close right now in speed. I'm talking about the 24.6 with Gordon and Mark Martin.
With more on the wind factor, here's another member of our broadcast crew covering today's happy hour, Dr. Jerry Punch.
Well, thanks, Bob, and hello, everyone. You don't need a wind machine or any kind of weather station to figure out that it's windy here in Las Vegas. I'm on top of the trucks here where some of the Lowe's team are, David Smith, Larry McReynolds, watching their driver on the racetrack. But look in front of me here. See the wind speed indicator and the wind direction indicator? That's hooked up to a computer down inside the truck. Now, when happy hour began a moment ago, it was registering between 24 and 27 miles per hour. And this is what Benny talked about a moment ago. These guys up here know that they're predicting possibly 40-mile-per-hour winds tomorrow and a drop in temperature by 10 or 12 degrees. That's why it's so important here to get the car dialed in with the wind gusting, particularly coming off the corner.
And we see that Mark Martin has been able to get by Jeff Gordon. Mark Martin won the race of Las Vegas 400 last year, the first time we came to this racetrack. And he also won the NASCAR Busch Series race here this afternoon.
Jimmy Spencer and Ken Schrader as Martin goes to the inside of Schrader, but Schrader has a pretty good line there on the outside, but Martin will get the position as they come off the corner.
Now, this is where the wind is going to really be critical today with the direction the wind is blowing right now. As these cars come off turn 4, it's going to want to blow the car up towards the outside retaining wall, and the car will really resist turning off that corner.
Fords dominated last year, but in qualifying yesterday, a Pontiac won the pole position, driven by Bobby Labonte. A couple of Chevys next, then a Ford. Tom Hubert, the best among the Ford drivers, will start 4th. Then Skinner, Craven, Mayfield, Nadeau, Jarrett, and Kenny Irwin in the top 10. Gordon, Labonte, Martin Elliott will round out the top 15. Here's 16 through 30 now.
Elliott Sadler qualified in first day back in 25th. All these cars from 26 on back stood on their time. Not one car qualified broke into the field today's qualifying.
And after the 36th position, from there on back, they got into the field through provisionals. Coverage of Happy Hour at Las Vegas Motor Speedway is being brought to you by Quaker State for protection beyond 3,000 miles under any driving conditions. Action on the racetrack. Here comes a group of cars off the corner. There's Wally Dallenbach, followed by Jeff Burton. John Andretti is right there also.
Jeff Burton, the 99 car, finished 3rd in the NASCAR Busch Series race here this afternoon. There's Michael Waltrip, who had a great qualifying effort yesterday, and will start on the outside of the front row. But look who's on top of the point standings after 2 events in the 1999 season. It's Mike Skinner with Rusty Wallace, 29 behind. There's a tie for 4th place. Meanwhile, Jerry Punch is with Larry McReynolds, the crew chief, on the Mike Skinner car.
And Larry, first of all, congratulations. You guys sit right on top of the point standings at a great beginning in 1999.
Well, it really is, you know, but to be leading after 2 races, yeah, we're excited and happy about this for this whole Lowe's team, but it's like leading the first 10 laps at Martinsville. We just got going, but it's a good position to be in, and hopefully we can just keep this momentum going.
How about the weather factor? We're talking about maybe 40-mile-per-hour wind gusts tomorrow. What does that do to you?
Well, you know, I listened to some of the guys in the Busch race about the wind, and they said maybe it didn't really affect them a lot. Nothing like it would like at Daytona or Talladega. Maybe if you're pushing up off of 4 the way it's blowing, it'll shove the nose right there. Biggest thing, we're going to have to put lead weights on our spotters to make sure they don't blow off the top of the grandstands. But, you know, it's going to cool down a bunch, and that's going to definitely change the track conditions. A little bit on the motor tuning more than anything.
I know you're going to go, but quickly, do you think we're going to see a much better race this year with the new rules everyone's talking about? This could be a 3, maybe even 4-wide show tomorrow.
There's no question. We saw it at Atlanta. We saw it in Japan. We saw it at Rockingham. Just applaud NASCAR for exploring this downforce stuff and giving all the cars back to spoiler and air dam.
Hey, good luck tomorrow.
Thanks, Jerry.
Larry McReynolds heads down to talk to his driver, who's already pulled in the garage area. It's the same car he won with in Japan a year ago at Motegi. They hope they'll have the same results here tomorrow, and if he does, not only his first win, but $1 million bonus.
And also on the racetrack, good qualifying run for Ricky Craven, who will begin from the 6th starting position. Here's Wally Dallenbach still leading Ward Burton on the racetrack. You know, there was nothing wrong with the race last year. We had 12 different drivers lead the race, 24 lead changes, but they have changed the rules, and everyone believes that tomorrow will be even better.
I believe it will, because all the races that I've seen with the new higher spoilers, the races have been better. The race in Japan, the race in Atlanta that we did in November, and also the race at Rockingham last week, I thought that was better than the normal Rockingham race.
There's the Hollywood Video 4, driven by Ricky Craven. He'll start in 6th position.
That was a great qualifying run for Ricky Craven, because he and Jeffrey Bodine and, you know, Rich Bickle, a lot of guys came out here with no points provisionals to fall back on, and they knew they had to get him his speed, and Ricky Craven goes up to 6th best.
Fastest so far in Happy Hour. We've only been underway just a few moments. Jeff Burton has recorded a 163.9. Yesterday, Bobby Labonte went 170.6 to win the pole position. And in fact, 29 drivers broke the previous track record, which was set here last year by Dale Jarrett. 29 over last year's mark.
And watch that car go up the hill where that wind just blows it right up against that outside retaining wall.
Here's the list of drivers who missed the field, and it includes Ted Musgrave and Kyle Petty.
Robert Presley, Dave Marcus, all regulars on the NASCAR Winston Cup. 50-car Ron Hornaday, that car has been to each race this year, hasn't made one yet. But then we had Gilliland, Jeff David, Ron Burns, and Austin Cameron, some NASCAR Winston West competitors trying to make it the field out in Las Vegas.
So those 9 drivers will be watching from the sidelines tomorrow. Jerry?
Elliott Sadler doing double duty on a Saturday. First of all, you had a great run subbing for Andy Santerre in the Monroe Muffler car in the Busch race.
Man, we had a great run. You know, we run up front all day long from such a bad starting position, and I mean, we run with some great guys all day, and we learned something. That's the main thing. This track at Las Vegas is getting pretty tight and slick, and the same way my Cup car was this afternoon. So we're gonna adjust the 2 rear springs and change all 4 shocks, and hopefully that'll help us.
I saw Eddie and Len Wood over. They had shocks under their arms. They had springs. They had spacers. I mean, what aren't you going to change on the Citgo Ford?
Well, we're going to try everything this afternoon on this car. I tell you, we run real good this morning, but we tried to make some adjustments for tire wear because we think it's going to be a lot of green flag racing tomorrow. But just depending like we did. But the Wood brothers and all the guys, Mike Beam, doing a great job. Sitco's behind me 100%. We got in the first day this weekend, so these guys just need a good finish, and hopefully I'll be able to give it to them tomorrow.
A promising future for this guy. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
Elliott Sadler. Now, how about the guy who used to drive this car, number 21? I think Bill Weber is standing with him.
That's Michael Waltrip. He's had a spectacular start to the 1999 season, and a lot of people here feel that tomorrow he could have one of the biggest days of his career. You got your heart broken here yesterday afternoon. We thought you had the pole. Can you win this race in $1 million?
Well, we'll be able to better answer that when happy hour's over, but the car feels really good. There's some that are a little quicker than us, but we know the adjustments we need to make in order to make our car quicker. So a lot of confidence on this team because of what we've done. And you know, you speak of new teams. This is a new team, and we've done a really good job for our sponsors, Phillips Electronics and Klausner Furniture. I think we can win. I believe that in my heart. We do need to improve in this happy hour from where we've started.
What do you have to do, Michael? What do you need to get done?
Well, it's tight off the corner, and you'll hear a lot of that here at Vegas. Earlier today, we were loose in and tight off both. Now we've got the loose in squared away, and now we just have a push off the corner. You turn the wheels off the corner, and the car wants to go straight a little bit more than I need it to. So we're going to put a rubber in the right rear and change some shocks around a little bit and see what happens.
You ran the Busch race. Not a great day for you, but were you able to learn anything in your limited laps out there?
Well, we put some springs in the front of this car like the Busch car had in it after I told them the Busch car felt like it's going to be good. I started in the back, was all trafficked up, but was running pretty good, so I was happy with the Busch car. This setup mirrors that a little bit as far as the springs go, but Bobby Kennedy and the team have built some shocks that are a little bit different than what we ran and different sway bars. So while it's a little bit the same, it's a little bit different as well.
Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you. It could be a lot of fun.
Sure could be. The number 7 car looking for some big things here in Vegas.
It'll be his 397th NASCAR Winston Cup start. He has no victories yet. Here is Tom Hubert, and talk about an outstanding qualifying performance yesterday.
How about that? 4th best qualifying run for Tom Hubert yesterday. Start outside the second row. You see the sponsor, Bradford White. This car is owned by Kurt Roy.
And he was the fastest among the Fords yesterday at 169.988. And 34th right now in happy hour practice speeds. Well, tomorrow at 5:30 on the Deuce, ESPN Speed World has more racing from Daytona. Yeah, Daytona, it's the Superbikes, the Daytona 200. 5:30 only on the Deuce. For more, log on to ESPN.com, part of the Go Network, go.com. Back with more happy hour in a moment. As happy hour continues, there's the man who will be on the pole for the Las Vegas 400 at 2:30 Eastern Time Sunday afternoon on ABC. Bobby Labonte coming into this race 4th in the point standings.
What was he, 3rd car from the end?
Yeah, he waited until almost the end of qualifying. Michael Waltrip had a long wait to see if anybody was going to knock him off, and finally in the late going, Bobby did. Mark Martin usually runs a lot of laps during happy hour, but Jerry's not right now.
Bob, that may be a bad sign for the competition. Mark Martin likes to run a lot of laps in happy hour, but Mark, you climbed out of the car a moment ago with a huge smile on your face. Would that be an omen for tomorrow?
Car's really good. You know, I'm looking forward to it. This is just it's one of the finest racetracks I've ever driven on, and such a driver's racetrack. And Winn-Dixie guys put a great Taurus under me this weekend, and that went well, and now the Valvoline team has done the same. So, you know, we'd like to make it make our way to victory lane again tomorrow, and that's what we're shooting for. That's what we always are.
Going for 3 in a row, won the Winston Cup race last year, won in the Busch race on Saturday. Now, this is the same car you won with here a year ago and then went on to win at Texas and Michigan and California. It's that good a race car?
It's a good race car. It may not be our best right now, but it's a good race car, and we slated it to bring it here. We've got some other stuff in the mix right now that we think is as good or better, but you know, we're just kind of running them through rotation, and since we don't get to test as much as we used to, we'll run them each week and decide which ones are our favorite and start rerunning them. And so far, I'm liking this one pretty good. I like the Rockingham car a lot, too, and we've got a great one lined up for Darlington.
Quickly, Mark, I got to ask you, the weather change tomorrow. It's going to get colder. Does that worry you at all?
We'll just have to adjust to it the best we can. Everybody will have to do the best we can. We're not going to do anything to it. We'll just put it out there on the racetrack and see what it does and see if we can make it, you know, the fastest car on the track.
Hey, congratulations today and good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
Mark Martin going for 3 in a row. Now, he's out of his car because they're working on it. Bill, there's another guy out of his car for another reason.
Absolutely, Jerry. Joe Nemechek was second in the Busch race. He starts third here in the Winston Cup race, but he's the first casualty of happy hour. What happened?
Something broke in the motor. Yeah, I can't say enough for Team Sapco. All the guys in the motor shop, they're billing killer power right now, and that's what we need. But something broke just all of a sudden. I pulled out the pass, and all of a sudden something disintegrated inside. It made a lot of noise, and it stopped quick. But this piece right down here has got to be Old Faithful for tomorrow. You know, a car run good this morning practice, and I think those are better conditions on what we're going to see than what we're seeing right now. But I never got to try a couple things we learned in the Busch car, so we're going to have to do a little guessing tonight.
That's what I was going to ask you. You did learn some stuff in the Busch car you wanted to put in the Cup car, but now you may not get those laps.
No, we won't be able to get back out. But
so what do?
Well, we put on our thinking caps tonight, and we start guessing just like every other team in here. The track will change a little bit tomorrow, and you just have to figure out which way you need to go. But tell you one thing, Mark Martin will definitely be tough again tomorrow.
Good luck, Joe.
Thank you.
Joe Nemechek starts third, but will not run any more laps in happy hour.
Speaking of Sapco engines, the 7-car Michael Waltrip has won this year.
Yes. As a matter of fact, Felix Sabanas helped his friend Jim Matei, the owner of the 7-car, change over to Chevrolet, also are supplying engines for him. So I'm sure that they will be going by Matei and Michael and the crew chief, Bobby Kennedy, all will be going by and talking to Keith Simmons, the head engine man for Sapco, and saying, okay, what happened to the engine? Is there something that we can do that will possibly prevent happening to our car tomorrow?
The red spoiler, the red air dam in the front, the red number on the top will designate for you on ABC at 2:30 tomorrow the drivers who are eligible for the No Bull 5. And a couple of more drivers right there on your screen, the 3 of Earnhardt and the 24 of Gordon. The 25 is Wally Dallenbach, but he is not among the No Bull drivers.
Dale Earnhardt will take a provisional and will start back in 38th position for tomorrow's Las Vegas 400. Second corner able to stay down is turn 4, where that wind is so strong that it looks like they're really having trouble keeping these cars down near that white line. Watch these cars as they come off the corner. Earnhardt keeps it right down on the white line that time. Good job by Dale Earnhardt.
They're both running about 162.2 miles an hour, 13th and 14th. The No Bull 5 drivers, Mike Skinner, young Kenny Irwin, Michael Waltrip, Dale Earnhardt, and Jeff Gordon. Those drivers finished in the top 5 at Daytona, and they are the 5 that will be going for the $1 million bonus tomorrow in the No Bull 5. And that's where they start. Michael Waltrip, the best outside, row number 1. There you see the overhead shot of Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and the overhead shot courtesy of the Pennzoil Copter Cam hovering overhead. And really not seeing a great deal of activity on the racetrack. We have some cars out there, but not nearly as many as we normally see at a racetrack this size.
Bob, I'm guessing that there's a lot of work going on. Yes, we see the guys in there changing springs, changing shocks. we're probably seeing more chassis adjustments being made at this happy hour than we'll see all year long because of the wind and the tough racetrack. Jerry Punch?
And, Benny, what we're seeing down here, a lot of spring and shock changes, you mentioned. Dale Jarrett just left a moment ago. Now we're watching Rusty Wallace's Miller crew working. And Jarrett had made a spring and shock change in the right front, trying to stiffen it up a little bit. The car was too loose getting in. Robin Pemberton here in the crew getting ready to put the net back up on Rusty. They are working very feverishly. Basically, that's what we're seeing everyone do, change at least 2 shocks, maybe even 3. We saw 2 springs and 2 shocks being changed here on Rusty Wallace's car as he gets ready to back out. Meanwhile, his teammate, Jeremy Mayfield, is up there. I think Bill Weber is near them.
And Jeremy Mayfield right now in consultation with his crew, but what they are doing here, changing the rear shocks. Not happy with how the car is handling, so they're going to go ahead and change the rear shocks. Now, a lot of these guys are making educated guesses at this time because, remember, the race will be over long ago by the time this portion of the afternoon rolls around. It's an 11:30 start, so some guys are trying stuff. They're not really sure how it's going to work in the weather conditions and the track conditions they're going to be racing here tomorrow. But this is a shock change for Jeremy Mayfield. Then he'll get back in the Ford and take it back out on the track.
Jeremy Mayfield will start 7th in tomorrow's race. Had a good run here last year, finishing in 5th position, driving from the 32nd starting spot. There is Mike Skinner, the current points leader in NASCAR Winston Cup competition, and again a No Bull 5 contender tomorrow.
Let's see, where is Mike Skinner in the pecking order as far as speed is concerned in happy hour? Back in 24th spot, so obviously they're looking for some speed.
John Andretti and Bill Elliott are running together out there. Elliott did well in qualifying yesterday. Ended up in the top 25. In fact, he will start in 14th position. Jeremy Mayfield is out of the car. Bill Weber is right there.
Okay, you're 10th in this session, 7th on the grid. You just changed shocks. How is that car?
That's pretty good, real good. You know, it's got a good race setup under it. We're just trying different things right now, sway bars, shocks, and all kinds of stuff. So hopefully by the end of the session, we'll know what we need for tomorrow.
That guy wants you to get in that car and go make some laps. So Jeremy Mayfield climbs back into the car under the direction of crew chief Paul Andrews, and he'll go back out and try these shocks, see if it can improve the car from how it was last time out on the track.
Darrell Andrews from Siler City, North Carolina, helping Jeremy get in the car.
Fastest car in the session so far is Jeff Burton, who's still in his Busch uniform. Just completed the Busch race and ran over to the Winston Cup garage and got into the Winston Cup car. Jeff Burton finished 3rd in the Busch race that was completed earlier today. He ran a 163.924 here in happy hour a little bit earlier, and he is at the top of the speed chart right now. And one of the Roush Fords, Ward Burton, his brother in a Pontiac, is 2nd fast in this session. Look at Bill Elliott. He's 3rd quick.
How about that? Looks like those Burton brothers had dinner together last night, doesn't it?
On down to number 15, Dale Jarrett, who has recorded a lap of 162.235. Begins it at 1:30 NASCAR today with Bill Weber, your host, at 2 o'clock. The race is live at 2:30 on ABC tomorrow afternoon. And then a complete wrap-up on not only this race, but everything else in the world of motorsports at 9 o'clock tomorrow night here on The Deuce, RPM tonight. For more, log on to ESPN.com, part of the Go Network, go.com. Happy hour is continuing. Jeff Gordon getting in a few more laps. He's currently 14th on the chart.
Tell you what, Jeff Gordon, the way he's running happy hour, the way he's been going back in the pits, come back on the racetrack, I think it's a crew and a driver that's working really hard trying to find that perfect setup for this DuPont Chevrolet. I don't think so far they've been able to find that key to get around this racetrack. Right now he's showing 14th fastest in happy hour.
He finished 17th last year here at Las Vegas. And Benny, what a rare moment last 2 weeks ago at Rockingham when he had an engine problem. Now, is that something that they really go to work on here in trying to find out what caused it, or do they treat it as a fluke?
Oh, no. They've gone all out trying to find exactly what caused it. And it looks, they did break a connecting rod at the race in Rockingham, but it looks like a piece of debris somehow got inside the engine and contaminated an engine bearing, which rod to break. So it wasn't, and that's the good news, that all of a sudden they didn't have a metal failure or something like that. It looked like just simple contamination from a piece of debris from somewhere. Now that was the key. That thing is still trying to figure out where the contamination came from.
Wow, interesting. Look at Jeff Burton. Here are the top 10 overall speeds from the session, and Jeff has 4 in here.
Wow.
And Ward Burton has a couple of laps in there. Jerry?
Well, Jeff Burton has reason to smile about what could happen tomorrow. But before we talk racing, let's talk family. I know you have Brian in your heart thinking about your brother.
Yeah, we are. My brother had a minor surgery on Thursday, and he's not the toughest guy in the world, so we're a little bit concerned about him. We're concerned he might be suffering a little bit today.
Oh, you really helped him right there. Now let's talk about the race car. Told everybody he was sort of weak in national TV. You guys are done for the day, I'm told?
Well, no, we're going to run again. Car's really good. Guys on the Exide team have really given me a good race car. It's fast to start with. It stays on its tires. It runs a long time. Pretty happy with it right now, but as anybody knows that watches these races, people that aren't running so great right now find a way to run really well tomorrow. So we made a little change to the car in the hopes to learn something that will make us better during the race tomorrow. We may actually run slower right now, but as the track changes, it may actually help us a little bit. So we're just trying to learn a little bit about some changes.
I heard you talking to Frankie Stoddard. You were discussing the weather situation. You were looking at your watches and they were scratching your heads. Will you contemplate and predict what's going to happen weather-wise tomorrow and make a change with that in mind?
Well, we will, because last night we had a really late Busch Grand National practice, and it was dark, and the track was so different. And I don't know if it was because the sun was gone or because the heat was down. I don't know which it was. So I'm a little bit nervous about it, knowing how different it was from last night to yesterday to today. There was a really big difference. So we're trying to think a little bit, but sometimes you outgas yourself and get yourself in trouble.
Hey, good luck tomorrow. Congratulations on a great run today. Thank you. Jeff Burton getting back into his car, quickest overall in practice. And remember, in happy hour, remember a year ago, all 5 Roush cars coming home in the top 10. In fact, 4 of them in the top 6. They would like to repeat that, say again, in 1999. And Jeff Burton would like to be able to swap spots with Mark Martin as the winner.
And it looks like they're doing well here in happy hour, too, because we got Burton at the top of the list and Mark Martin and Chad Little also within the top 5. We'll continue with our coverage of happy hour from Las Vegas Motor Speedway in just a moment. Stay with us. Looking to the main grandstand. All this from the Pennzoil Copter Cam. Beautiful layout here in Las Vegas. But again, we don't see a great number of cars on the racetrack for this late in happy hour. Just a few more minutes to go.
About half the field is out there right now. But I would guess that the numbers of cars will pick up as time runs out, because these guys want to scramble back out there and get that last run. And see Jeff Burton, his car is good. He said it may be perfect, but he's out there still practicing, trying to find something that will make it a little bit better. And last year, remember, in this race, he had a really good race car and was caught speeding on pit road. Remember that?
Yep, sure do, but he still came back to finish in 2nd position. You add that to the fact that he led the most laps 2 weeks ago at Rockingham. You add that to the fact that he is the fastest here in happy hour. And perhaps the odds, if we want to speak in those terms, are pretty good for Jeff Burton tomorrow.
Sure are.
There's Rusty Wallace. Another rookie here is Tony Stewart, who is 6th fastest right now at 162.8 miles an hour. Bill Weber has more about Tony.
And I'd like to tell you, those guys are earning their money, but really they are not making many changes here in happy hour. They did a lot of work on that car this morning in the practice session, but this afternoon all they have done is change tires and put fuel in it. Tony comes back in, talks to his crew, then goes right back out on the racetrack. He's very happy with his car. Meanwhile, Jeff Gordon is going to make some more changes, apparently.
Tony, of course, has some experience here running the Pep Boys Indy Racing League Series, but this will be his first Winston Cup race. Well, they're putting a new set of tires on Jeff's car.
Putting stickers on there. Okay, now then. they're going to see just how fast the car will run on brand new tires. In case there is a restart with just 10 or 15 laps to go, they need to know what kind of adjustment they need to make with brand new tires.
There are only 10 more minutes to go in happy hour, so Benny, you're right. The activity is definitely picking up. Jerry?
And remember, we talked about Jeff Gordon running the Busch race today, and when you ask Ray Evernham and the crew, how much did you learn? They say a lot, a whole lot. And what they learned primarily today was what the car will do with shock absorbers and primarily what it'll do with air pressure changes. That's why you're seeing the sticker tires being bolted on right now. Go out, get the car, see what it'll do. They've made a shock change on both the right and left front to try to loosen the car up a little bit. They've made some air pressure changes, put the sticker tires back on, and guys, they have gone to school on a 300-mile Busch race. They hope will help them for 400 miles tomorrow.
Jeff Gordon featured on the cover of ESPN magazine, a preview of the 1999 NASCAR Winston Cup season. Pick it up at your newsstands now, ESPN magazine. The closing minutes of happy hour at Las Vegas Motor Speedway when we come back. In the last few minutes, and there are a lot of cars out on the racetrack and some good competition going on out there.
Matter of fact, they came off turn 4 and 3 abreast a moment ago. Jeremy Mayfield, I think it was Mike Skinner, and the 45 car of Rich Pickle. Oh, lucky dog.
That's right. You got to have a lot of that when you come to Las Vegas, and maybe Rich will have some of that when he starts from 21st in the Las Vegas 400 tomorrow. About 6 minutes to go, BP. What do you do?
Well, right now they're just getting that last feel of the race car, last feel of the chassis, knowing what it's going to be like when the green flag drops and they go down in turn 1. Bobby Howell's on the 4 cars, David Green 41, Jeremy Mayfield. Trying to get that feel of exactly what it's going to be like as Hamilton goes on by.
On board with Bobby Labonte, we will take a lap around Las Vegas Motor Speedway in the Circuit City in-car camera.
The pole sitter comes off turn 4 down to the start-finish line. Listen to the engine as he accelerates down, reaches down, just holds it in high gear. Bring back off. Back on the throttle. Easy in the throttle, then hard as he comes off that corner.
Now Mike Skinner, we're on board with him, and he comes down pit road, heads back to the garage area.
Now he's going down to Goodyear to be able to get those tires checked by the Goodyear engineers, getting that heat across the face of the tire. Oops, no, wait a minute. Just making a chassis adjustment. Stopped on Jerry Punch.
And Benny, that's exactly what they're doing. They did not call Skinner to come back in the garage area. They told him to go to Goodyear, get the tire temperature checked. We're going to make an air pressure and a chassis adjustment because we're running out of time. And in the last 10 minutes or so of happy hour, it has gotten considerably cooler here, and the wind has picked up, possibly a preview of tomorrow.
Skinner goes back out on the 1.5 mile Las Vegas Motor Speedway and joins a lot of other cars out there in happy hour. In happy hour in preparation for the Las Vegas 400 tomorrow at 2:30 Eastern time. There's Bobby Labonte. He'll be the guy that will have the pole position for the race tomorrow. Let's check the speeds. The Burton brothers are at the top. Jeff the best, 163.9. We look down the top 15 and see Jeff Gordon down there in 15th position.
Only one Chevrolet in the top 10. See a bunch of Fords and Pontiacs. There's Earnhardt back in 16th, and there Schrader, Labonte, Nemechek, and Hamilton.
And the remainder of the 43-car field that will take the green flag tomorrow. But right now, the red and black flags are waving at the starter stand, indicating the end of happy hour. So that's it. The final practice is over. And the race is going to be coming up tomorrow afternoon. Let's go down to Bill Weber.
Bob, I think there's going to be a lot of racing going on tonight here at this track or back at the hotel after everyone leaves here. A lot of guys are going to have to be guessing, an educated guess. Were we that good this morning, or were we better this afternoon? Well, the conditions were more correct this morning, but the car is a little better in the afternoon session. A lot of talk, a lot of decisions still to be made. At 2 o'clock Eastern time on Sunday, we'll have some of those answers with NASCAR Today comes to you from the grid. We'll talk to some of the drivers. Surprises at the front of the field and some surprises at the back of the field. 5 guys going for $1 million. Plus, we'll also have a look at the first 2 races of the season, where people are at and what it means after the Daytona 500 and the race 2 weeks ago at Rockingham. And Darrell Waltrip's Track Talk will feature this interesting topic. If you couldn't drive your car, which car would you be driving? All that on NASCAR Today tomorrow at 2 Eastern. Here's Jerry Punch.
Las Vegas, Nevada, long known as a place where the high-stakes game of chance can change your life. The turn of a card, the roll of a die, the pull of a handle can change your life forever. Tomorrow, 7 of the top 10 starters have never won a Winston Cup race. 3 of those top 10 could win their first and get a $1 million bonus. My, how Las Vegas could change some lives tomorrow. Bob?
Indeed, and the afternoon begins with our coverage at 1:30 Eastern Time here on The Deuce. It'll be RPM Today, NASCAR Today with Bill Weber at 2. The Las Vegas 400 live flag-to-flag coverage on ABC tomorrow at 2:30, and then the complete wrap-up on RPM Tonight at 9 o'clock tomorrow night. We will anticipate a very, very good race here tomorrow, Benny.
It looks to me like the spoiler rule that NASCAR has put into effect to raise their spoilers and drop the front spoilers has helped these cars stick around the racetrack. It should make a better race, Bob.
Bobby Labonte has the pole position. Michael Waltrip will start alongside. Coming up, RPM Tonight, Reese Davis has the report on all the activity from the world of motorsports. ABC tomorrow at 2:30 for the Las Vegas 400. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com. Part of the Go Network, go.com.